So what we're going to do today then is look at some student work for some different purposes, and besides just a score, and then have a discussion. I'm going to have you think and talk, and we'll have a dialogue about what you notice about this particular piece, and then try to bridge this to your work in your school. It's called My Pet. Is everyone seeing that okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit tricky to read, so if you don't mind, I'm going to read it to you. And just so that because it was a little bit fuzzy when I transferred it, I tried many, many different sizes to make this work. But we'll go ahead then and go to the first page of our piece. And this page has a picture of a dress on it, and this is the beginning of our piece. On July 29th, it was my birthday. It still wasn't my birthday. I was excited for my birthday. My mom bought me a white shirt with green sparkly polka dots and green shorts with white stripes. And my birthday was on a Sunday. At first, I thought we're going to have a party, but no, I'm not going to have a party. We're going someplace else. My brother has his birthday on the same day as me. His real birthday was on July 11th, so he didn't have a party. Only my family celebrates his birthday. Now I know what I'm going to get for my birthday. I'm going to get a pet. And it's hard to see the picture, but she's got a light bulb idea in her head there with what she's going to get on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, he's also thinking of a pet. I'm also excited. I was thinking about a puppy. My brother was thinking about a hamster, so I thought I would agree. So what I'll do is I'll give you about 10 seconds on each page or so, and I'll control that. And then what I'd like to do is just think about, so if Veronica was with us, and if we were talking with Veronica, what would we tell her that we noticed that she knows as a writer, or what would we admire about her writing? So this is the first page, and I'll give you about 15 seconds or so, and then I'll go to the next. So what's something someone noticed that they could either say to Veronica, you know, there's one thing I noticed that you know as a writer, or I really admire the way you, just anyone have any comments on what they notice?
I would say she's very good with details. She provides a lot of details.
Good. So we have some detail. And which page are you thinking about?
Really, it's on many of the pages, but I mean, both in terms of her illustrations and just in the narrative itself. She's got a lot of details about birthdays, about her thinking, about her brother, about the pets themselves.
Good, good. So yeah, one thing we note then is definitely there's a lot to praise her about details from page 1. Anything else?
I was impressed with her choice of pictures, too. It seemed like she grasped the main idea of each of the pages, so she was able to illustrate it very well.
Good. So yeah, that idea that the illustration definitely demonstrates kind of the big idea on that page, and she uses that effectively. This idea of reading to admire, one of the reasons that I always cue myself to read to find something to like, I heard Jeff Anderson, who's a staff developer and writer also for Stenhouse, one time say, if we can't find something to like about student work, if we can't find something that they're doing well, then we're just not looking, and I really agree with him. And then another thing that I like about this idea of admiring is it's the classic way to begin a conference. We need to begin with praise. And when we think of what Carl Anderson says about conferences, or what Lucy Calkins says about conferences, all the experts in the field around this work, what we can start with then is this phrase, I admire what you do here as a writer, or again, an alternative phrase might be, so here's what I noticed that you know as a writer. And it's just a way for me then to have this double work. I can have some student work samples for beginning a mini lesson, and then I can also have it as a way into a conference. Any questions or thoughts about the wonder or ask questions?
Yeah, Mark, how do you get beyond, because you're looking at, I'm assuming, a finished picture book, how do you get beyond kind of giving them the sense that they didn't tell enough of the story when you ask them a question like this?
And that's a really good question. So I might not, you know, this, if we could imagine that this piece was in progress and maybe it was a few days in and she had begun her piece, okay. That's a very good point. Since this is finished, this is a finished piece, which you're correct. This was the end of her unit. What I may do is just bank this idea of I'm going to read her work, make sure I read a lot of it early on so that if I have any clarifying questions, I can remember to do that, and I might make a note in however I keep my conference notes.
I think that sounds helpful, yeah.
Okay, so I'll definitely send that to you with some little explanations about how it's possible. And again, I want to be clear that there's so many ways to do it. but if it's fair, if we honor practice too. Students told me they don't want to try really hard and then find out they got a D anyway. I had a kid tell me that. So if I put in all this work and I got a D, he felt it was the teacher's fault because you had me practice things that didn't make me better. So those key elements, I think, are that fairness and then practice and then time to make the grade better.